Hello, everyone. Hello. Happy Thursday. I wanted to begin with this Indigenous prayer from North America, and it's about work. And, when we think about our work, we have not only our work that's our job, but we also have our emotional work, and we also have our work and our spirituality, our soul work, our spiritual work. We have our work that's our job. We have all of these different types of work. And I just think it's something really interesting to think about. And I think it's interesting too, just when we ask ourselves, like, am I doing my work? Am I doing the work that I've come here to do? It's like that question that destiny asks or that death asks, like, death and destiny are asking us each day, are you doing what you came here to do? And so the hope is that we are doing what we come here to do. And what we also want is we also want ways to access. We want ways to access how to be um, with with that work, and how to do that work in a way that aligns with the seasons, how to do that work in a way that aligns with our day to day, with our relationships. And so, how can we do that work? It's a good question, and I love this prayer. This is a prayer that I say often. I will often say this prayer when I am beginning my business meeting, or when I'm thinking about a particular ceremony that I'm about to do, or a particular work I'm about to step into. I like to say this prayer, and this prayer goes: "Great mystery, powers of the water, I send a voice in prayer. I'm asking for entrance through the gates of knowledge. I am seeking to cross the realms. Spirit of the water, help me to be fluid today, to move easily with this work. I turn to the setting sun in the place between day and night, asking guidance for intuition. I pray for the right doors to open, for the ability to look within and make good medicine of my gifts, so that it supports the work and supports the earth and supports the friends and supports the family. I pray that I can grow within this work and be of service to others. Powers of twilight, walk in your mystery and open your gifts that want to be of service today through my work. Thank you for the blessing of work. Thank you for the blessing of gifts. Thank you for the blessing of the earth. Thank you for the blessing of work. Thank you for the blessing of gifts. Thank you for the blessing of the earth." So when we're thinking about our work, are we asking for help with that work? Are we asking for the mystery to be with us, for the creator to be with us? And can we actually see what is working in our lives? Can we see that our work is working, and that what we're doing is working, and that we are, maybe having a different experience that we had before? It's one of the ways that we know that we're doing our work, is we can see, oh, I'm having a different experience. Something different is happening than what has happened before. And so we can ask ourselves that, and we can call on the mystery to help us. We can call on the creator. We can call on Great Spirit. We can call on other powers in the universe. We can call on nature. We can call on a friend. We can call on the power of silence and reflection and meditation. And so there's all of these things that we can call on to help us and to support us, so that we can see what is working. And when I talk about work, I also am thinking about, how are we seeing ourselves? How are we seeing others? How are we talking about ourselves? How are we talking about others? How are we thinking about ourselves? How are we thinking about others? How are we thinking about our own work? How are we thinking about other people's work? Are we spending a lot of more time thinking about other people's work than we are our own work? I mean, that's something to wonder about. If I start thinking about someone else's work more than I'm thinking about my own work. Or one of the things I appreciate that Angelus used to say is, if I am talking about someone else, I'm not doing my own work. I'm not in my own work. And so how do we stay in our own work? And then do we see what is good in others? No one is all good and no one is all bad. Like it's not just like human beings are just one thing. Like human beings were so multifaceted and there's just so much to being human. And some of us are, you know, focused on this one way of being, and others are focused on a different way of being. But it doesn't mean that one person is not good and the other person isn't. I think that one of the things we run into sometimes is just thinking that we just need to be focusing on how we can improve all the time. And sometimes it's not how we can improve, but how others can improve. so, so how do I focus on how I can improve instead? And how do I manifest those things? And how do I manifest the ways that I can improve? So I think that there's a lot about kind of just getting a little bit more of a more balanced view of ourselves and of others, and just seeing all of us, anyone who has a human body anyway, as a human being who has things that are really beautiful in them and things that are not so beautiful in them, and things that are just so right and in alignment and just right the way that they are, and other things that aren't and that aren't working and that are just in need of some attention and in need of some work. And so as we're in the season of winter, some of the work that we're doing, at least in my community as a collective, is we do the work of really going inside, honoring silence, and then we work with the Hopi survival kit, in that we work with the different seasons, and working with the seasons in the way that they dictate could be helpful for us. And one of the things they dictate, or one of the things that they talk about in the book, at least in the translation of the book, and of these visions and of these ways of working, is just to follow the cycles and follow the seasons. I mean, it's not like, oh, rocket, it's like, it's not anything new. There's like not anything new about it. What it is it is this opportunity for us to begin really seeing the cycles and the seasons as an opportunity to align with what is in our own natures. How can we align with what is in our own true natures? So when I think about what is, aligning with our own true natures, that means that we need to think about some things, maybe some people, some places, and some things. But when we think of this time of year, we follow the precept of speaking highly of others. And what does that mean, to speak highly of others? It means that we don't talk shit about people. It means that we don't make shit up. It means that we don't let our own mind run away with us. It means that we don't, oh my gosh, I'm covered with saffron hair. Oh my goodness. Yay, saffron. We don't like spend all this time up here. Saffron is my cat. And she has very long hair, and it gets like all these amazing, it sticks to everything, everywhere. Some of you may have seen her in some of the other videos that I've made. She'll sometimes do backup singing, or no, backup meowing. Oh my gosh. So what we want to be able to enter into these cycles and these seasons, and to practice honor and respect of the cycle of the season, but also of human beings. And so how can I extend my honor and my respect to other human beings? And one of the ways that we can do that, and it talks about this in the Hopi prophecy, is that we can speak highly of others. And when we speak highly of them, that doesn't mean that we don't acknowledge if there's something to do, or some kind of work to do, or if there's a conversation that we need to have, we have that conversation, so that we can resolve things. It's important that we're resolving things. But what we also know is that in that resolving of things, we're extending that honor and that respect in that regard, because we're going direct. And so what we know that if I'm going directly to the person that I have the issue with, it is creating that safety. It is creating a field of safety for for that person. It's creating a field of safety for the family, for the organization, because where people go direct with one another, it does exactly that. It creates that field of safety, and we can go to each other. It's always interesting just to be talking with someone and to have them have an expression, but to feel, for them to smile, but to kind of wonder, like, oh, I don't think that they're really smiling. I don't think they're actually really in a good place, and just to be able to have that kind of authenticity where we're really talking, but we want to be able to make those connections. We want to be able to connect with people in a way that's very direct, and we want to be able to do our delivery of the communication that feels like it's going to be the most empowering and health engendering for everyone. So, and if we're an adult person, we can keep ourselves safe pretty much. We have the ability to keep ourselves safe, to say what it is that we need to say, to do what it is that we need to do. And so, it's important that we're able to recognize that, oh, I can think of all of the different ways that will help me to feel safe or to be safe. And I can make choices to be with people where I do feel, and where I can acknowledge what is working, I can acknowledge what isn't working, and I can be in a conversation with that person about that. And so, how can I recognize, how can I acknowledge what is working? How can I speak highly of others? How can I extend that honor and respect in all my relationships so that we can do the work together? Because it's important that we have that connection. That connection is really what we need in order to heal and to help the world going forward, and to have the quality of life that we want to have. And so, how can I create connections and do my work while also honoring that we are in the season of winter, and this is the time of acknowledging that the earth is resting, and that she needs to rest, that she needs to have this time to regenerate herself, and that we can also do that. We can also take that time of regenerative acknowledging what and how and where we can regenerate ourselves, and going into that ability to regenerate by walking with the earth, by not making loud noises, by extending honor and respect to ourselves and to each other. Another thing that's really helpful is to align our words and our actions, and Angeles talks about that in her Warriors, a Way of the Warrior, in her Fourfold Way. But it's one of the ways that we can practice really good leadership, that we can extend ourselves to touch the heart of another in that way. And then we want to acknowledge also, hey, well, if I'm addressing someone or something or an issue, I can just say, oh, this is where I know that I have room for improvement, and I can improve in these ways. And then, to talk about, how you can improve together, and how you can create a win-win. So how can I also align my words with my actions? How can I align my words with my actions? And then recognizing that, I'm not here to improve anyone else. I'm here to improve myself and to grow and to learn, but also to have happy days, to have some days that are really filled with joy and happiness and well-being. And, it's important that we're able to touch the face of the mystery and the face of the creator, and to touch the face of the divine each day. And that gives us our guidance, that gives us our way forward, that gives us our our ability to know our appreciate reading. This is a reading I want to close with, and this is a reading from the Recovery Movement, and it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful reading, and of course, it's by anonymous, but it's really powerful. And it just says, when I concentrate on little things that annoy me, they sprout resentments that grow bigger and bigger. I seem to forget how I could be stretching my world and broadening my perspective. That's the way to shrink troubles down to their real size. Worrying about trifles saps my spiritual energy. which I could certainly put to better use? Am I willing to waste my life in this way? When something or someone is giving me trouble, let me see the incident in relation to the rest of my life, especially the part that is good and for which I should be grateful. A wider view of my circumstances will make me better able to deal with all difficulties, big and little. And then it has a reminder: I refuse to let my serenity be drowned out by happenings that are in themselves unimportant. I will not be made uneasy by what others do, whether they intend to hurt me or not. I will not clutter up my thoughts with resentment. It would not profit me, but worse, it could hurt me. Why do we accept things that could trouble us when we could do something about them? And so, what can I do in my day to enjoy my life and to just let go of those resentments? Why not think about what we can do that will turn things in a better direction for ourselves and for our loved ones and for the world? And so, to focus our energies on those things that, to concentrate our energy on those things that will give us energy and that will support us spiritually, emotionally, and physically. So, that could be making a really nice meal for ourselves and our loved ones, or learning something new, or connecting with our different communities that we all have. So many blessings, and I will see you next Thursday.